Hey, what is up, drummers? Andrew Rooney here. I thought I'd share this hot take while I think of it, and while it's still a hot take for me, like fresh in my mind. I've just finished teaching for the day, and I've been thinking about this all day. ChatGPT, AI, learning, and this comes from really, I had a discussion with a guitarist, a local guitarist buddy, Danny Mccrum, a couple of weeks back. We did a whole interview, which was a really good chat. And I can't remember whether this came up in the interview or whether it came up afterwards, but he was talking about how, just for fun, they typed in guitar lessons into ChatGPT, just out of curiosity to see what happened. And he mentioned to me that it was all wrong. All the information was wrong. And I didn't really think much about it, to be completely honest. I was just like, oh, okay, well, that's funny. And I haven't personally used ChatGPT or any of this AI stuff yet at all. I'm always a late adopter of technology. I was the last one of my friends to get a cell phone, and yeah, let's not even go there. But I haven't indulged myself just yet, so I don't know how good or accurate, or, is this stuff a genuine replacement for a drum teacher, for example, or a guitar teacher, or a history teacher, maths teacher, who knows? And anyway, I guess the second part of this that hit me was, it popped up on my Facebook feed, because I'm a member of a few online Facebook drumming groups. And one of them popped up, and it was, I believe the person had typed in rudiments, drum rudiments, into ChatGPT, and something like, drum rudiments, how should you practice them? Or how should someone teach them? Or it was all to do with rudiments, right? Which we all know is our basic sticking and single stroke roll, paradiddles, on and on and on. And whatever this person had typed into ChatGPT, he was sharing it. He shared the post, which I won't share here just to guard his privacy. But it was sort of under the guise of sharing it in that, man, we are here. We don't really need drum teachers anymore, because, look at this. This is, all the information's there, right? And again, I don't normally do this on these online forums. I wouldn't normally go in and have a look, but this one piqued my interest because I was thinking about Danny Mccrum and what he said about how wrong, surprisingly wrong, the information was. And so I clicked on this thing, which blew it up, and I could actually read what ChatGPT said about rudiments and teaching rudiments and learning rudiments. It was all wrong. I don't mean in terms of the approach or my philosophical take on how to teach drums. It was different to that. I mean the actual information was wrong. So, sticking. You should practice a paradiddle like this. A paradiddle is, and has the sticking, and it was wrong. And then it started getting into different types of paradiddles, and it had that wrong as well. There were it kind of bullet pointed about 10 points to do with rudiments. And I would say half of them were wrong. Now, I don't mean wrong in the sense that this is a debatable type wrong where two drum teachers might have a differing perspective on it. I mean the actual technical information in terms of rights and lefts and combinations of them was actually wrong. That really, really surprised me. I am not out to discredit ChatGPT or say that it always gets stuff wrong, or because I simply don't know. And I assume it's going to get better and better, and of course, and blah, blah, blah. It was just surprising to me. And the other bit that was really surprising was the way this was framed to be brought into the forum was presenting it as, look how easy you can get this information that a drum teacher might give you, for example. It's like, wow, now now it's free, right? Now we can just type it into ChatGPT. Then I started looking in the comments, which is always a bad move on Facebook groups. So I don't normally get into the weeds in these type of groups. I get into the weeds enough on my own channel here, but I couldn't help it. I commented something which hopefully didn't sound smart. I just commented something like, wow, there's a lot of wrong information there. So it looks, I said something like the robots won't be taking over yet. We still do need we will always need drum teachers. We still need help, and we still need that human element. And then someone replied to me and said, was sort of like mocking me, like laughing and saying, well, that information is from published work, man. So, and I just thought, wow. People will believe anything if it's in print form and if it's been put online. I get the feeling to this person, my point of view is wrong because we're comparing me to ChatGPT, which is, in theory, drawing from the best stuff in the world, right? The most well-researched documents or tutors, online stuff. But maybe if I had published something like similar and put it out, under a proper publisher as a drum textbook, that might be taken as Bible because it's in written form, and it's just, there's some kind of weird authority when something gets typed out online or printed. There's some weird authority that people think that that's right. That's been printed or that's been churned out by ChatGPT online, so it's right. And this really stunned me. It actually really did stun me. And when I think about it now, I should not be surprised. I should not be surprised that people would think this information is correct. And I shouldn't be surprised that they would think I'm wrong and the information this is churned out is right, because in theory it's come from an authoritative source, right? But yeah, there you go. I didn't argue back, because what's the point? Online arguments. But then you start to wonder, has this person read through the information that was put through? Or because if they have, then they don't know what the rudiments are, because the rudiments are incorrect. They're incorrectly titled and the sticking's wrong. It's quite shocking, isn't it? It's really sort of hit me for a six, this one. I'm really surprised. Firstly, I'm surprised it was wrong. And secondly, I'm surprised that people will assume it's right, even though it's wrong. Some of it was right, although very, very generic information. There you go. It almost reminds me a little bit of, there was this pervasive thought within drumming and within music that drum machines were going to take over in the early 80s. We're still here. The landscape has changed, and drum machines like SPDX, Roland products, and sample pads, all of that has been incorporated into drumming, but we're still here. And I think that's where this is, and I think that's where this is heading. I think in the right hands, it's bound to be a really good resource. In the right hands, you still need an experienced human to verify it and to be able to action it in a logical way. You still need a human being for that, because we are all human beings. We are all different. If something churns out generic information, let's assume it's the correct information, which this wasn't, but let's assume it churns out 10 very logical, generic ideas about practicing rudiments, and it's right. What isn't being taken into consideration here is the person on the other end. Their level of experience, their level of expertise, their level of understanding what they are reading and what they are trying to learn for themselves. That's why we have drum teachers. They can bridge that gap between how you think this should go and how it should go, or where we want to take it and how you think you're going to take it there, and possibly some shortcuts or easier ways that we can take it there a little bit faster. Hopefully that makes sense. But wherever there's humans involved, I think you need a human answer in many ways. This also got me thinking about other areas. Equations, historical information, geography, psychology, whatever your field is, it got me thinking about this. And are there certain areas where the information is more solid and black and white? Maybe. Although this was pretty black and white, because this is just sticking. It's either a right or a left, and it's either the correct rudiment or it's not. Whether you like rudiments or not, that's another topic. And whether you think they're useful or not, totally another topic. But this was about rudiments. So these other topics, science, geography, deep water, exploration, if we want to get topical, and equations relating to those, construction equations, bridge, what's the word I'm looking for? Structural integrity on towers, bridges, buildings, medical advice, surgical procedures, and I don't know, any of this stuff. How much of this is going to end up as AI equations? Possibly a lot of it already is, right? And I'm not anti-AI. I'm not anti-ChatGPT, although you guys are probably out there going, yes, you are. Yes, you are. I'm not. We all already use technology. I'm speaking into my phone right now. But how much of this is still going to be verified by an experienced person who runs it through a different series of checks, a different checklist? Or are we just in the early stages? Or are these two situations that I'm referring to with the people using poor forms of the ChatGPT? I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Food for thought. Guys, I would love to hear your feedback on this. I feel like this is probably going to be something that comes up more and more. The whole AI learning and ChatGPT, and we don't need drum teachers anymore, and we don't need this anymore, we don't need that anymore, it's going to take all our jobs, Terminator, the machines are taking over. We shall see about that. I'm not so sure. My gut feel is I'm not so sure. Yep, you could have all the technology in the world, but you're still dealing with fallible human beings on the other end. It's our end, it's the human experience end that is the most impactful and the most different. Thinking about teaching, all of my students are completely different, and this should not be a surprise. Of course they're completely different. They're all their own individual people, different ages, different experiences, growing up in different eras, growing up in different houses, different parents, different school, different countries. Of course they're all going to be different. Of course they're all going to be different. Tiny things can happen when you're a child that impact you for your whole life and can taint bias confirmation and all kinds of things. And a generic ChatGPT answer to some of your questions isn't really going to take any of that into account. But again, hit me in the comments section. Let me know if I'm completely off the mark and ranting. Well, I'm definitely ranting. Could be a new series, Rooney's Rants, Hot Takes. I would love your feedback. Hit me in the comments. Take care out there. I got to get home. Ciao.